Do you know what keeps men restless at night? It isn't the fear of rejection. It isn't the grind of building success. It's the quiet, unspoken dread of giving everything to the wrong woman. Your time, your trust, your energy, your heart, only to realize she brought nothing of value to the table. Think about it. A man can spend years building himself, sharpening his mind, stacking his resources, fighting battles the world never sees. And one wrong woman can drain it all in months. That's not a warning. It's a truth history repeats over and over again. Kings have lost empires. Leaders have lost kingdoms. Ordinary men have lost their very sense of purpose. And all of it came down to one thing. They never asked what she truly brought to the table. Now listen carefully, because this is where most men fail. You've been conditioned to believe that as long as she's beautiful, as long as she gives you attention, as long as she makes you feel wanted in the moment, that's enough. But let me break that illusion for you. Beauty fades, attention shifts, chemistry cools. If the only thing she offers is her presence, then what you really have is emptiness, wrapped in a temporary disguise. And here's the part nobody dares to say. Most women know this. They know their looks can open doors, but they also know looks alone don't keep a man's soul anchored. And if you don't hold her to a standard, she won't hold herself to one either. The truth is, a real partnership is an exchange of value, not just a one-sided investment. You wouldn't put your money into a business that gives you no return. Yet men hand over their lives to women who contribute nothing beyond a smile. That's not love. That's self-destruction. And the world will applaud you for it, until you're left broken and drained, wondering what happened. So before we even begin breaking down the 6 things she must bring to the table, I want you to let this question sit heavy in your chest. When you strip away her beauty, her charm, her ability to make you feel like a man in fleeting moments, what is left? If you don't have a clear answer, you're already in dangerous territory. The first thing she must bring to the table is something most men never even think to demand: emotional stability. Let me ask you this. What good is a beautiful woman if every day feels like walking into a storm you can't predict? Think about it. You spend your time building your life, fighting in a world that already throws enough chaos at you. When you come home, do you need more chaos or do you need peace? Exactly. A woman who cannot regulate her emotions will drown both of you in her tidal waves. And it doesn't matter how much you love her, you'll eventually sink too. Now here's the uncomfortable truth. Many women test men not because they're evil, but because they've been taught that drama equals love. Raised on movies, social media, and broken examples, they confuse chaos for passion, and they'll drag you into the fire without even realizing it. But a high-value woman, a woman worth keeping, understands this. Her role is not to add to your battles, but to help you recover from them. She knows when to challenge you and when to bring you calm. She doesn't explode at every minor inconvenience. She doesn't play games with silence or manipulation, and she doesn't punish you for her own internal wounds. That kind of woman? She's rare. And that's exactly why you need to hold the line until you find her. Because here's what happens if you don't. At first, you'll dismiss her outbursts as passion. You'll excuse the mood swings as just part of who she is. But over time, you'll start carrying her emotions like they're your own. You'll tiptoe around her anger. You'll censor your truth just to keep the peace. And slowly, without even realizing it, you'll lose yourself. That's not a relationship. That's emotional slavery. A woman who brings emotional stability to the table is giving you something priceless: clarity. The ability to focus on your mission without constantly being dragged into unnecessary battles. The freedom to breathe, to think, to recharge. She becomes a sanctuary, not a storm. And let me tell you something every strong man already knows. You don't rise in life without peace at home. So ask yourself right now, does she soothe your spirit, or does she constantly ignite it in destructive ways? Because if her presence costs you your inner peace, you are paying far too high a price. The second thing she must bring to the table is loyalty. Unshakable, undeniable loyalty. And I'm not just talking about not cheating. I'm talking about the kind of loyalty where she has your back when the entire world turns against you. Because here's the reality. Every man will face a moment in life when the lights go out, when the success fades, when he feels invisible, when the world stops clapping. That's when you find out what kind of woman you really have. See, loyalty isn't about what she does when times are good. Anyone can smile, anyone can post pictures, anyone can play the part of the perfect partner when money is flowing and life feels easy. But when you're down, when the odds are against you, when the people you thought were friends disappear, does she stay or does she start looking for her exit? That's the test. That's the truth. And too many men find out too late that the woman they gave everything to was never built for the storm. Understand this. Loyalty is not about words. It's about actions. A woman who is loyal to you will defend you when you're not in the room. She will protect your name when others try to drag it. She will stand beside you, not because of what you have, but because of who you are. That kind of woman gives a man a strength he can't buy. She becomes the anchor in his chaos, the voice that reminds him he's not alone, the presence that fuels his fire to keep going. Without that, you're walking this life alone, even if someone's lying in bed next to you. But here's the hard truth most men ignore. If she flirts with other men, if she keeps you guessing about where her loyalty lies, if she's quick to blame you or expose you when things go wrong, that's not love. That's betrayal waiting to happen. And the deeper you invest in her, the more it will cost you in the end. A loyal woman doesn't just keep her body for you. She keeps her heart for you, her respect for you, her energy for you. And if she cannot offer that, then she doesn't deserve the version of you who sacrifices, who protects, who provides. So ask yourself this. If everything you had disappeared tomorrow, would she still stand beside you? If the answer shakes you, you already know what that means. The third thing she must bring to the table is respect. Not just in public when eyes are watching, but in private, when it's just the two of you, when nobody else will ever know how she treats you. Because here's the reality. A man can survive the weight of the world, but he cannot thrive in a home where he is constantly disrespected. You can build empires, you can fight through rejection, you can weather storms, but if the woman closest to you chips away at your dignity, you will break from the inside out. Respect is more than polite words. It's in the tone she uses when she speaks to you. It's in whether she trusts your judgment or constantly questions your ability to lead. It's in whether she lifts you up when you stumble or whether she uses your lowest moments as ammunition against you. Every man has faults. Every man will fail at something. But a respectful woman will never use your scars to make herself feel taller. She will never make you feel small just to feed her ego. And that, my friend, is the difference between a partner and an enemy. Think about it. How many men walk into their homes dreading the words that will greet them? How many men feel smaller in their own house than they do out in the world? That is not love. That is slow destruction. Because when a woman chips at your respect, she is not only breaking you, she is breaking the foundation of the relationship itself. No man can fully love a woman who constantly belittles him. Attraction dies where disrespect lives. Now here's the part most women don't understand. Respect doesn't mean worship. It doesn't mean never disagreeing. It means she speaks with care even in conflict. It means she values your role as a man even when she's upset. It means she recognizes that tearing you down tears both of you down. That is respect. And if she cannot give that, then her beauty, her charm, her body, it all means nothing. A respectful woman will inspire you to rise higher. You'll want to conquer more, to be better, to give her the best because she reflects back the best in you. But without respect, love cannot breathe and trust cannot grow. So ask yourself, when she looks at you, does she see a man to honor or a man to control? Because her answer to that question will define everything. The fourth thing she must bring to the table is support for your mission. Because a man without a mission is a man who feels lost. And a man with a mission will either rise or fall, depending on who he lets closest to him. You see, the right woman doesn't just sit in the passenger seat while you drive. She fuels the journey. She understands where you're going and doesn't resent the sacrifices it takes to get there. She doesn't compete with your purpose. She aligns herself with it. That doesn't mean she disappears into your shadow. It means she knows how to build alongside you instead of pulling you off track. Now here's the danger most men ignore. Too many fall into the trap of a woman who secretly resents their mission. She wants the benefits of your ambition, but not the reality of it. She loves the attention you give her, but despises the time you must invest into building something bigger than yourself. And slowly, she'll pressure you to abandon the very thing that makes you a man with drive. She'll call it balance. She'll call it quality time. But what she's really saying is, choose me over your destiny. And the day you do that, you lose both. But a woman who brings support to the table? She sharpens you. She doesn't make you feel guilty for working late when it's necessary. She doesn't compete with your vision. She asks questions. She contributes ideas. She makes the load lighter instead of heavier. When you fall, she reminds you why you started. When you win, she celebrates you without jealousy. And most importantly, she never makes you choose between her and the mission, because she knows the mission is what makes you who you are. Here's a truth you need to burn into your mind. A woman who cannot support your mission will eventually sabotage it. Whether through resentment, distraction, or emotional withdrawal, she'll pull you away from the very thing that gives you life. And that is why support is not optional, it's essential. So let me ask you, when you talk about your goals, your dreams, your vision, does she light up with belief or does she roll her eyes with doubt? Because if she cannot cheer for you, she cannot walk with you. And if she cannot walk with you, then she has no place at your table. The fifth thing she must bring to the table is femininity. Real, nurturing, powerful femininity. And I don't mean just how she dresses or how she looks. I mean the energy she carries, the softness she offers, the ability to balance your masculine drive with a presence that calms, heals, and restores you. Because here's the truth. Men don't just need a woman. They need a feminine woman. A woman who knows that her strength is not in competing with your masculinity, but in complementing it. Look around today and you'll see the opposite. You'll see women told to harden themselves, to mimic men, to dominate instead of harmonize. And what happens? Relationships become battlefields. Two warriors fighting for control instead of partners building for growth. That tension slowly eats away at attraction until there's nothing left but power struggles and silent resentment. A woman who rejects her femininity will constantly clash with you, not because she's evil, but because she's trying to live in an energy that was never designed for her. But the feminine woman? She is the difference between exhaustion and renewal. She can walk into a room and change the atmosphere with her presence alone. She carries grace instead of hostility, softness instead of constant edge. And don't mistake femininity for weakness. It takes strength to nurture, to care, to be gentle in a world that teaches people to be harsh. That kind of woman makes a man sharper, stronger, more focused, because he knows that when he returns from the battles of life, he's coming home to peace, not more war. Now let's be clear. Femininity is not submission without a voice. It's not passivity, it's influence. The feminine woman knows how to inspire without demanding, how to guide without controlling, how to build without competing. She doesn't need to fight for power because she understands the power she already holds. The power to shape a man's heart, his spirit, his very destiny. That's why men who choose feminine women often rise higher, because instead of living in constant tension, they live in balance. So here's the hard question you must ask yourself. Does the woman in your life bring you peace, or does she bring you pressure? Because peace is the mark of true femininity, and pressure is the mark of conflict disguised as love. And one will build you, while the other will break you. The sixth thing she must bring to the table is accountability. And this one is rare, because accountability requires maturity, self-awareness, and humility, all qualities that separate a woman from a girl. Let me explain. Every relationship will face conflict, misunderstandings, and mistakes. That's inevitable. But what destroys relationships isn't the mistake. It's the refusal to take responsibility for it. If every argument turns into her pointing fingers at you, shifting blame, or playing the victim, then what you're really dealing with is a ticking time bomb. Because sooner or later, that lack of accountability will poison the bond you've built. A woman who brings accountability to the table doesn't run from her flaws. She owns them. She doesn't twist the story to protect her ego. She faces the truth, even when it stings. If she overreacts, she admits it. If she says something hurtful, she apologizes without excuses. If she fails to support you, she recognizes it and corrects it. That kind of woman builds trust, because you know that no matter what, she values the relationship more than her pride. And trust me, pride has destroyed more love stories than betrayal ever could. But let's flip it. What happens if she refuses accountability? Suddenly, every conflict becomes a war you cannot win. You'll either fight endlessly against her denial, or you'll surrender just to keep the peace. Both outcomes leave you drained, silenced, and resentful. And here's the tragedy. Too many men stay in that cycle for years, slowly losing themselves because they're afraid to demand better. Accountability is freedom. It's growth. It's the soil where respect, loyalty, and love actually thrive. Without it, everything else eventually collapses. With it, even the toughest storms can be survived. A woman who holds herself accountable is telling you this: I care about us more than I care about being right. That is the kind of woman who deserves your time, your energy, your future. So now you know the 6 things she must bring to the table: emotional stability, loyalty, respect, support for your mission, femininity, and accountability. Without these, no amount of beauty, no amount of charm, no amount of chemistry will ever be enough. But with these, you don't just have a partner, you have a queen. Now let me ask you something personal. Which one of these 6 do you feel is most missing in modern women today? Drop your answer in the comments below. I want to hear your truth. And if this video hit you deep, make sure to like it, subscribe for more, and share it with a friend who needs this message right now. Don't keep the truth to yourself, because another man's future may depend on hearing it today.